I have the pleasure of representing our public sector, local and state group at Dreamforce. And if you are in public sector, then you might be asking yourself, this might be your first Dreamforce, because the public sector in general isn't thought of as that, avant-garde related to the cloud or related to Dreamforce at all. So hopefully this will give you a little bit of insight into where the public sector is going related to Salesforce and our capabilities in the area. This is going to be a very short presentation, but just a little update on what we're doing in public sector related to Salesforce. And thought, since this is such a forward-thinking audience that is right on the edge of cloud, and I thought I'd pull a quote from Thomas Jefferson that I thought was perfectly apropos to this situation, which is, I predict future happiness for Americans if they can prevent the government from wasting the labors of the people under the pretense of taking care of them. Now, I'm not making any political statement at all there, but the point I want to make is that government must transform itself in a profound way and start treating the constituent like a customer. And if you think about what Salesforce has done in the world of finance and the way that you interact with your bank and the way that they market to you as a customer of one, your bank would never have you line up in multiple lines to get a driver's license or to get a permit because you're a hairstylist. But yet the government continues to operate in all of these silos where they make you get in line to their processes to do business with the government. And this is an example of the craziness that goes on in government right now. And this is no negative towards the state of Michigan, but I pulled this. This is from the state of Michigan. These are the licenses and permits that the state of Michigan issues to consumers or business owners that start with the letter A, okay? Just the ones that start with the letter A. So every one of these positions has to sit in front of and get a permit or a license, and most of the times they're all siloed applications that you have to apply to with their own security models to do business with the state of Michigan. So this is what's changing. I mean, the government of the future is starting to adopt some of these mega trends, which are really basic 101 Salesforce trends that financial services implemented in the last 15 years. What citizens want is they want meaningful short interactions. They want Twitter, they want social, and they want to have a modern experience with government. They also want their experience, they want to run on anything. They want it to be BYOD, right? They don't want the government to tell them how they want to respond. And then government, they really need to get proactive in understanding how people want to live and be marketed to. And they need to start using all the data in front of them and the context for that data to make better decisions. And the biggest thing is the classic cloud story of just more efficiency. Instead of working on servers and technology and storage, the government needs to start thinking about innovation, and that's exactly where Salesforce fits in. So here's some steps that what we're seeing as the trends in government, specifically in the public sector, local and state, that they're starting to adopt. They're adopting this cloud-first adoption, okay? And cloud first 5 years ago in the government was probably non-existent because everyone thought about security and we have to own our own data. I can tell you that's not the case at all anymore. I sell in the public sector, and people that I was talking to 5 years ago that wouldn't hear the word cloud, they've probably started their adoption with Office 365. They dipped their toe in the water. They put a few things in the cloud. Now they're looking at real business applications moving over, and Salesforce provides a great fit. Obviously, they have all these legacy applications, and those have to be upgraded, and they're looking for platforms to upgrade those. Upgrading the applications, they need to be done much faster. People don't want an 18-month program to upgrade a simple application like in the past, and these are all the things that we've come to experience with Salesforce. And it's happening. If you just look at this slide, some of the most secure federal agencies, large states, large counties, municipalities, they are adopting Salesforce in little bits and pieces into their application portfolio to get some of these rapid productivity gains that I'm talking about. So here's what most of the government buyers are looking to do, is to establish this blueprint. And if you live in a very progressive area, you might already be seeing some of this blueprint. But the first step in the blueprint is they're really learning about their citizens and about their constituents and how they understand how they want to be communicated to and what their ultimate goals are. Secondly, the government agencies are looking to do something, either migrate some portion of their application, not boil the ocean, but look for one or two things to move into the cloud so they can gain trust and they can learn all the value that the cloud brings and prove it sometimes to their constituents that the cloud is safe. And then they're looking to unlock the data. Once you start going down the cloud path, they have a common area for data, and they're looking to unlock and standardize that data. It gets into MDM and things like that. And then ultimately collaborating with the citizens with some feedback loops. That's what government does not do well, typically, is work within agencies or across aisles to share best practices internally, and there's generally no citizen feedback loop. And then once they start enabling things with social and mobile, they realize all these services can be quickly enabled. Here's just a couple quick examples that we're working with right now in the government sector. This is the Commonwealth of Kentucky. The basic use case here is they had 23 different licensure and permitting applications. If you think of them, if you're opening a convenience store and you're going to sell alcohol, you're going to sell lottery tickets, you're going to do all these things, you're going to have to go to about 7 to 8 different systems to apply for these licenses and permits to do business. Well, what we did is work with the Board of Occupations and Professionals, and we consolidated a bunch of workflow, very simple workflows, permits and licensing apps on one platform using Salesforce, and resulted in moving about 80,000 annual licenses and renewals into a very easy-to-use system that quickly took advantage of single sign-on and all of the app exchange partners related to payment. And that system was up and running in about 3 months time frame. In government, that's unheard of. Usually it's 18 months and 17 consultants to bring an application to bear. This is a little bit about what this looked like from a Salesforce architecture perspective. Another example is another inspectioning permitting application with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This was more public safety in nature. And the big one here was we tied geotagging. When somebody saw a pothole or an abandoned car, or they saw a street light that was out, they could take a picture of the event. They could relay that information in and then geotag that information so that somebody knew where to go to fix that problem. 311 is another tremendous application that we're seeing where Salesforce is leading, and that's taking non-emergency services, not like 911, right, but non-emergency services, and essentially putting together a multi-channel contact center using the best practices of Salesforce for government. And we're seeing, on the political front, we're seeing tons of folks that are running for election or trying to be reelected grasping this whole concept of managing the constituents' expectations and making government easier to do business with. So where do you start? This would be what we would say where a local, state, or agency would start. Look at your architecture and your application portfolio. Identify some demos. Don't boil the ocean. Peel off a few things. Demo it. And then dive into the App Exchange. There's already 4 or 5 key vendors that are providing applications or configuration sets for local and state government. And to think agile. I mean, everything in this world is very agile in nature in terms of development. And then as soon as you get a few apps in place, you will see the adoption and the focus of the IT side of government will start moving from technology to more innovation, which is where government really wants to be, is how do we innovate, not focus on the mainframe or the data center or the technology. And this is just the architecture that Salesforce, that we leverage, and all these clouds around the outside are different current public sector applications, leveraging the different clouds, the sales cloud, the service cloud, the marketing cloud, the exchange, and the platform. I appreciate your time and listening today. And even if you're not in a public sector, you're certainly being influenced by government, right? So hopefully you learned something about Salesforce, about NTT data, and how we're helping governments adopt the new technology. Have a great day.